Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin.
Between the galaxies, where the dark oceans of the universe stretch out beyond sight, there lies something vast, something unseen, something heavier than light itself. The night sky, when we look up, appears sprinkled with glittering points, but what we see is not the whole story. Like the faint glow of a candle in a cavern, the stars are only a hint of the vast chamber surrounding them. Behind the stars, between the spaces, within the quiet silence, there is matter that does not shine, does not reflect, does not glow. Scientists call it dark matter, but the name itself is more of a question than an answer. For how do we name what cannot be touched, what cannot be seen, what reveals itself only in the bending of galaxies, only in the pulling of gravity's invisible thread? Imagine drifting far away from Earth, beyond the warmth of the sun, beyond the swirl of the Milky Way. As you float in this silence, you see galaxies, great spirals and ellipses turning like dancers. They spin too fast. Their stars should be flung outward, scattered into the void, yet they remain tethered, held close as though by unseen arms. Something is cradling them, something unseen yet immense, and it is this unseen gravity that first whispered to astronomers that the universe is not as it seems. If we measured only the stars, the gas, the glowing clouds, galaxies would never hold together. The light we see is not enough. There must be something more, something invisible weaving its strength into the fabric of space. The story of dark matter begins with a simple wonder. Why don't galaxies fly apart? In the 1930s, an astronomer named Fritz Zwicky noticed that galaxies within a distant cluster were moving too quickly. By all known rules, they should have broken free from each other, scattering like leaves in a storm, yet they clung together. Zwicky proposed there must be some hidden mass, some missing matter holding them fast. Most ignored him then, for the idea of an invisible ocean of mass seemed almost like fantasy. But decades later, Vera Rubin, gazing at spiral galaxies, measured the speeds of their stars. She found that the outer stars, far from the center, were not slowing down as expected. Instead, they raced around at nearly the same speed as those closer in, as though the galaxies were being carried in the arms of an invisible giant. The evidence was clear, and Rubin's quiet voice gave form to the whisper Zwicky had once heard. The cosmos is wrapped in something unseen. You can almost feel it, this invisible presence, when you let your mind drift through the cosmos. Imagine a great web, a net of shadows stretched across space. The galaxies are beads of dew clinging to the strands, their light caught upon the threads of something that does not shine. Scientists call this the cosmic web, and in computer simulations, when they map where dark matter might lie, delicate filaments emerge, like frost spreading across glass. The bright galaxies gather along these strands, like seeds caught in a river's current. It is the dark matter that forms the scaffolding, the hidden bones of the universe. Without it, galaxies would not form, stars would not cluster, perhaps life itself would never have been born. Yet for all its power, dark matter hides. It does not touch us, not in the way air brushes against skin or sunlight warms our faces. It drifts through like ghosts in a story. Billions of particles of dark matter may pass through your body each second, and you would never know. They leave no glow, no trace, only a faint pull on the grandest of scales. Scientists build vast detectors deep underground, shielded from cosmic rays, to wait in the silence for a single whisper of dark matter colliding with ordinary atoms. Great tanks of liquid xenon, crystals chilled to silence, sensors more delicate than spider silk, they wait. Yet still, the silence stretches on. To this day, no one has caught dark matter in the act. It remains a mystery, a shadow of gravity itself. And so the universe becomes a puzzle, a dream half hidden. Everything we can see, the stars, the galaxies, the glowing nebulae, is only a fraction of what truly exists. Less than 5% of the cosmos shines for us. The rest is hidden, dark matter, dark energy, the unknown seas. Imagine an iceberg drifting on the ocean. The white peak gleams in sunlight, but beneath, 9 times more ice waits in shadow. So too with the universe. The light is only the surface, while below, vast and unseen, lies the greater part. This is the veil between stars, the quiet silence between galaxies. It is not emptiness, though it feels like silence. It is full of something unseen, something more real than the stars themselves, because without it the stars would drift away. We cannot touch it, but we feel its pull. We cannot see it, but it shapes everything we love, from the spiral arms of our galaxy to the delicate possibility of life upon Earth. And so, in the silence of the night, when you gaze upward, remember that most of what you see is hidden. The stars are only hints, whispers of a deeper truth. Dark matter cradles them all, like invisible hands holding the universe together, soft and eternal. Now let us drift deeper into the silence, into the folds of the cosmos where dark matter holds its secrets most tightly. To think of it is to think of shadows that bend the paths of light itself. Though we cannot see dark matter, we can see the way it curves the beams of starlight. Astronomers call it gravitational lensing, a phrase that sounds almost like poetry itself. When distant galaxies shine, their light travels across millions, sometimes billions of years. Along the way it bends, like a stream flowing around unseen stones. Those stones are clusters of dark matter, silent mountains of the invisible, bending space and reshaping sight. With careful eyes, with delicate instruments, scientists see arcs and stretched rings of light, galaxies duplicated and smeared across the heavens. These are the fingerprints of the unseen, the ghostly signature of the invisible matter that surrounds us. You can almost imagine yourself standing in a meadow at dusk, with fireflies flickering in the grass. If someone invisible were to walk among them, you would not see their form, but you would notice the fireflies moving aside, their lights shifting as though pressed by air. So too with dark matter and galaxies. The light is pushed and bent, and though we do not see the hand, we feel the movement. This is the artistry of the cosmos, the poetry of gravity written with unseen ink. The search for dark matter has led us to strange ideas, some as haunting as they are beautiful. Perhaps dark matter is made of WIMPs, weakly interacting massive particles. They are heavy, vast in their influence, yet so shy they barely ever speak to ordinary matter. Others suggest axions, delicate particles born from symmetry itself, like whispers of mathematics made real. Some even wonder if dark matter is made not of particles at all, but of hidden dimensions folded tightly, or clouds of primordial black holes born in the infant universe. Each idea is a doorway, each possibility a quiet hall that opens into wonder. Scientists listen carefully at each threshold, waiting for the faintest echo, a sound in the silence. And yet there is a kind of peace in not knowing. The mystery is itself a companion, a reminder that the universe still holds secrets vast enough to humble us. We live in an age of telescopes that can see almost to the beginning of time, of detectors that can catch the birth cry of colliding black holes. Yet still, the fabric of most of the universe remains hidden, like a dream that slips away upon waking. There is beauty in that. To know that we are surrounded by something immense and unseen is to know that there is always more, always further places for the mind to wander. It is like walking through a forest, knowing there are paths beyond the ones we can see, trails waiting, mysteries breathing in the shadows. When we speak of dark matter, we speak not only of physics, but of belonging. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, spins upon its invisible halo, a vast sphere of dark matter that cradles every star, every planet, every life. Without this unseen cocoon, the galaxy would unravel, and so each of us, without knowing, lives within an invisible embrace. Our lives, our histories, our songs are all sheltered by this ghostly matter. The night sky with its stars and constellations is a canvas stretched upon a frame we cannot see. We are shaped by it, even as we wonder what it is. Let us drift further back into the first moments of time. The infant universe, still glowing with heat, was a simple sea of particles, quarks and photons, colliding in a dance too hot for atoms to exist. In that early fire, dark matter whispered its influence. It did not shine, did not tangle with light, but it pulled, always pulling, gathering matter into knots and strands. Long before the first stars flared, dark matter was sketching the outline of the cosmic web. Without it, the universe would be smooth, featureless, a quiet sea of light. But with dark matter, there were ripples, places where matter could gather, collapse, and blaze into stars. In this way, dark matter is like the hidden artist of creation, the unseen hand that made galaxies possible. It is curious, then, that we cannot hold it. All around us, within every room, within every breath, the particles of dark matter may pass by like silent raindrops through stone. They do not spark, they do not touch, they do not cling. For them, the atoms of our bodies are almost transparent, and yet they are everywhere. Imagine a shadow that falls across the world, a shadow that is not cast by any light, but is simply woven into being. This is how dark matter drapes itself across the cosmos. There are moments, quiet and humbling, when scientists lower their instruments into the silence and deem it they do not know. They watch the skies, they measure the arcs of galaxies, they wait for signals deep beneath mountains. But dark matter keeps its secrets close. Some have even dared to ask, what if dark matter is not real at all? What if the laws of gravity themselves are not what we think? Could it be that Einstein's elegant curves, his description of space and time, are incomplete? Some propose modifications, new equations, a rewriting of the script. And yet each test, each observation, seems to point again toward the invisible. The galaxies whisper of something hidden, and we, like children in a darkened forest, lean in to listen. The beauty of this mystery is that it unites us with the cosmos in a way both fragile and immense. For though dark matter hides, it holds everything together. It is the net beneath the trapeze, the unseen roots beneath the forest, the quiet gravity that ties us to the stars. To think of it is to remember that not all truths shine. Some truths are soft, shadowed, patient. They ask us not to see, but to feel the weight of their presence. And so, as you rest beneath the night sky, remember that every star you see is a clue. Each sparkle is a pearl upon an invisible thread strung across a web you cannot see. It is in this web that galaxies are cradled, in this silence that life has found its stage. Dark matter is the unseen poetry of the universe, and though we cannot yet write its full verse, we can feel its rhythm, slow and eternal, pulsing like a heartbeat through the cosmos. Now the story drifts toward its quiet resolution, as if the cosmos itself were exhaling, reminding us that even mysteries can feel like lullabies. Dark matter is not a puzzle we must solve tonight, nor a secret that yields quickly. It is the unseen horizon of knowledge, the slow unfolding of the universe's hidden heart. And in that slowness there is something deeply calming. For though we do not yet hold the answer, we already live within the truth it shapes. The galaxies are steady. The stars remain gathered. The Milky Way still turns, wrapped in its invisible halo. Our lives, fragile and brief, unfold in the steady embrace of something that does not falter. Dark matter, though silent, is faithful. Consider how it feels to rest in a room at night, the walls surrounding you though you do not think of them. They hold you, they shelter you, they give shape to your space. You rarely wonder at their presence, yet without them the air would drift away and the sense of home would vanish. Dark matter is like that, a cosmic architecture we do not notice, but without it, the house of the universe would fall apart. Galaxies would unravel, stars would scatter, and the patterns we hold so dear, the spirals, the clusters, the constellations, would dissolve into emptiness. What we cannot see is what keeps us whole. As telescopes grow sharper, we now glimpse the universe not only in visible light, but in microwaves, in X-rays, in radio waves. Each wavelength shows a different layer, a different skin of reality. And yet in all these views, dark matter remains absent. It is not merely dark, it is transparent to all forms of light. Like wind through branches, it moves without leaving a glow. This makes the search more haunting, more patient. The instruments grow larger, more sensitive, yet the silence deepens. And in this silence, we learn humility. For here is a reminder that the universe is greater than our reach, deeper than our tools, richer than our imagination. The unseen still breathes between the stars. Some scientists speak of future discoveries with hope as soft as dawn. Perhaps a particle will reveal itself, caught in a detector deep beneath a mountain. Perhaps a new kind of telescope will uncover a subtle whisper in the background glow of the cosmos. Perhaps a new theory, still unborn, will show us that what we called dark matter was something else entirely, something more wondrous than we dreamed. Until then, the search continues, like walking through mist, reaching for shapes that drift away when touched. And yet, each step is worth taking, for even in the mist, the journey itself is beautiful. Imagine for a moment that you are floating beyond the Milky Way, looking back upon it. You see a spiral of stars, tens of billions of suns glowing together in a grand design. Yet the spiral is not all. It swims in a vast halo, an unseen sea of dark matter. This sea extends far beyond the stars, far beyond the glowing arms, farther even than our imagination often stretches. And there, within that invisible ocean, you understand, the galaxy is not only what shines. It is also what does not. It is both light and shadow, both seen and unseen. And so too are we. We are not only what is visible, what can be measured or weighed. We are also the quiet thoughts, the unspoken dreams, the invisible roots that hold us in place. The search for dark matter is not only a scientific quest, it is also a human reflection. It asks us to consider what we cannot see, to honor the importance of the hidden. Love itself is unseen, yet its shapes lives more than any visible force. Memory is invisible, yet it builds the architecture of who we are. Trust, imagination, wonder, these two are like dark matter, invisible threads that hold together the galaxies of our hearts. Perhaps that is why the mystery resonates so deeply. In searching for the universe's invisible matter, we are reminded of the invisible within ourselves. And so the veil between stars remains, not a barrier but a gentle reminder. The universe does not give away all of its secrets at once. Some truths arrive like starlight, long after their beginning, traveling patiently across the void, finally reaching us when we are ready. Dark matter may be one of those truths. Until then, we live within it, carried by it, shaped by it. And even without knowing, we belong to it, as fish belong to the sea, as trees belong to the soil, as galaxies belong to the cosmic web. The unseen holds us, and in that embrace we find peace. Now the story closes softly, as though a curtain of night is being drawn. The stars above are no less bright for what they conceal. The galaxies are no less beautiful for the shadows that shape them. To know the universe is to live with mystery, to walk with questions as companions rather than burdens. And in that way, dark matter is a friend, a silent one, a hidden one, but a friend nonetheless. It holds us steady, it keeps the cosmos whole, and it reminds us that what cannot be seen may be the very thing that matters most. The universe opens like a great book, and the pages that we can read are only the ones written in light. Stars glow, nebulae shimmer, galaxies burn with countless suns. Yet between those bright words lies a vast darkness, and within that darkness lives the greater part of reality. This is the shadowed universe, where most of existence hides in silence. Scientists tell us that the matter we see, all the shining gas and stars, is but a fraction. The rest, 5 times more, is cloaked, invisible, refusing to reveal itself except through the pull of gravity. It is as though the cosmos is a great theater, and we sitting in the audience see only the actors under the lights, never noticing the hidden stagehands who hold the ropes, who turn the wheels, who keep the play alive. These shadows of the invisible universe are everywhere, and though we cannot see them, their presence gives shape to all that we know. Imagine lying beneath the night sky, your body pressed against cool grass, the earth itself spinning quietly beneath you. Above, the constellations form patterns older than memory. You trace them with your eyes, perhaps Orion, perhaps the curve of the Great Bear. Each star feels so precise, so placed, as though the universe had drawn its map with intent. But if you could see beyond the light, if you could lift the veil of photons, you would find a vastness greater still. Around each galaxy stretches a halo, a sphere of invisible matter wider than the galaxy itself. These halos do not shine, do not flicker, yet they weigh more than all the stars combined. They are the shadows, the silent guardians, and the galaxies cling to them like lanterns to unseen poles. The invisible universe reveals itself slowly, in whispers rather than shouts. A galaxy bends light that passes nearby, like glass-bending rays of sun. Astronomers call this lensing, and with it they map the unseen. They trace arcs of distant galaxies warped by invisible halos as if the cosmos were painted on rippling water. Through these distortions, we glimpse the shape of what cannot be seen directly. The shadows sketch themselves across the stars, delicate and haunting. They are not empty. They are full of weight, full of presence, guiding the dance of the galaxies without ever showing their face. For centuries, humanity lived in the glow of the visible. The ancients charted the heavens, thinking the stars were the full story. They imagined crystalline spheres, divine fires, or infinite seas of light. But the shadows waited patiently, unchanging, while we learned to see deeper. It was only in the last century that the veil began to lift, when the movements of galaxies spoke of missing mass, when the edges of spirals spun too fast to be held by starlight alone. Vera Rubin, listening to those stellar rotations, heard the murmur of the invisible. She measured, she waited, she let the galaxies whisper, and they told her what others had missed. The shadows are not empty. They are the body of the universe itself. You can almost picture it. The visible world is like a glowing lace stretched across a dark fabric. The lace is delicate, detailed, bright against the void, but it is the fabric underneath, unseen, that gives it form, that holds it together, that allows it to be. Without the cloth, the lace would tear and scatter. Without dark matter, the galaxies would unravel and the univ. Earth would be a smooth sea of light with no constellations, no stars, no worlds. We owe our very structure, our very being, to what we cannot see. In this way, the shadows are not absence but foundation, not silence but song. And yet, what is this shadow? That is the question that keeps scientists awake beneath the stars. They build detectors in caverns deep under mountains, shielding them from stray cosmic rays, waiting for a single tap from a passing particle of the invisible. They cool crystals, they watch vats of liquid xenon, they listen in silence. Decades pass and still the shadows do not yield their secrets. Perhaps they are WIMPs, whispering particles heavy with mass but shy with interaction. Perhaps they are axions, featherlight born from the symmetry of nature. Perhaps they are something stranger still, something beyond our imagining. The shadows hold their silence and the scientists keep listening, patient as the stars. It is a humbling truth that what we know is less than what we do not. The visible universe, with all its stars, is only a sliver, a thin slice of a deeper whole. To live in such a place is to live in mystery, and to accept that mystery is not an absence but a presence. Like the roots of a tree unseen beneath the soil, the shadows feed the branches above. Like the currents of the ocean, invisible to the eye, they move the surface waves. We feel their influence even when we cannot see their form. The invisible universe is not elsewhere. It is here, wrapped around us, moving through us, shaping the stars we love. And so, as you drift beneath the night sky, let yourself rest in the knowledge that there is more than light. The shadows are not frightening, for they are steady. They do not flicker, they do not fade. They hold the galaxies together, they cradle the stars, they make possible the stage upon which we live. The universe is larger, richer, and deeper than our eyes can show us, and in that truth there is wonder. The shadows of the invisible universe are not emptiness. They are the quiet fullness of being, the unseen heart of creation, the embrace that holds the cosmos whole. Let us move deeper into the silence of the shadows, into the realm where the invisible sculpts the visible. If you look at the great tapestry of the universe, the galaxies are not scattered at random, but gathered along filaments and threads. This is the cosmic web, a pattern that stretches for billions of light years, a lace of unimaginable size. In computer simulations, when astronomers let dark matter guide the rules, the threads emerge naturally, delicate as frost upon a window pane. Along those threads, galaxies form like beads, their light clinging to unseen currents. Between the threads lie vast voids, darker than night, empty of galaxies, echoing with silence. It is as though the universe is woven from two parts, the glowing lace of galaxies and the deep fabric of invisible matter upon which that lace rests. The cosmic web tells us that dark matter is not passive. It does not sit idly while the stars burn and fade. Instead, it is the architect, the scaffolding upon which all else has been built. In the early universe, when all was hot plasma and light, it was dark matter that began to clump together to sketch out the first seeds of structure. Ordinary matter, still tied to radiation, could not settle, but dark matter, untouched by light, moved ahead, forming the skeleton of the cosmos. Later, when the universe cooled, Gas and dust followed those invisible lines, filling the skeleton with stars and galaxies. Every spiral, every cluster, every shining constellation is a painting upon a canvas we cannot see. Imagine drifting through such a web, gliding along strands invisible to your eyes, yet feeling their gravity tug at your bones. Stars would seem to hang in rivers, galaxies would cluster like blossoms on a tree, and in between would be the emptiness deeper than imagination. To cross from one filament to another would be to cross a desert of darkness, hundreds of millions of light years wide. It is a landscape vast beyond measure, and yet it was drawn by particles so elusive we cannot catch even one. In this way, the shadows of the invisible universe are both grand and intimate. They shape not only the farthest galaxies, but also the quiet corner we call home. Our Milky Way spins in its own dark halo, a sphere of unseen mass surrounding it like a cradle. The stars, including our sun, orbit within this invisible embrace. Without it, our galaxy would have unraveled long ago, the stars drifting into the void, no spiral arms, no constellations, no Earth to harbor life. It is humbling to think that the unseen has shaped even the chance of our existence. We are born of shadows as much as of light. Scientists now try to measure this halo, to weigh its presence, to map its shape. They study the movements of stars at the edge of the Milky Way, letting their orbits reveal the invisible gravity. Why holding them? They look at the motions of small satellite galaxies, faint companions dancing around our spiral, tugged and pulled by unseen threads. And slowly the image emerges, a vast sphere of dark matter surrounding us, stretching hundreds of thousands of light years beyond the stars we see. It is like a great ocean in which our galaxy floats, the visible disk no more than a luminous island upon its surface. And yet for all this, the nature of the shadows remains hidden. We can trace their outline, we can feel their pull, but the substance itself slips through our grasp. It is as though we are blind sculptors, running our hands across the shape of something vast, knowing its curves, its weight, its balance, but never touching its material. What is it made of? That is the question that lingers, soft and haunting, at the edge of our understanding. Some imagine that dark matter might be a cousin to neutrinos, those ghostly particles that stream through us in endless numbers, born in the hearts of stars and supernovae. Neutrinos interact so rarely that they too pass unnoticed, yet they leave faint traces we have learned to catch. If neutrinos can exist, perhaps even stranger particles can too, particles heavier, quieter, more patient. Others imagine axions, so light they would drift like whispers across the universe, forming waves instead of particles, fields instead of sparks. In their gentleness, they could fill the cosmos unseen but everywhere. And some dare to imagine entire families of forces and particles, mirror worlds that overlap with ours but barely touch. The shadows might be another realm, hidden but real, waiting for us to find its doorway. The search is both a scientific pursuit and a meditation. Deep underground, detectors sit in silence, their chambers filled with pure liquids or crystals chilled to stillness. Every flicker, every spark is measured, recorded, studied. Most are noise, the chatter of ordinary particles, but scientists sift patiently, like monks listening for the faintest bell in the wind. Each year that passes without a discovery only deepens the mystery, but also strengthens the beauty. For it means that the universe still holds secrets vast enough to outpace even our greatest machines. And yet the shadows are not frightening. They are not chaos, not threat, but structure, order, and embrace. They keep the galaxies whole, they guide the stars, they shape the vast web that gives birth to clusters and clusters of clusters. To dwell in such a universe is to dwell in a place where the unseen matters more than the seen, where the silence carries more weight than the sound. And this truth reflects back upon us, upon our own lives. How often is it the unseen that shapes us? Love, trust, memory, none can be touched, yet all hold more weight than stone. The invisible, it seems, is always the greater part. So we continue to search, knowing that discovery may come slowly. The shadows are patient. They have waited since the beginning of time, and they will wait until we are ready. In the meantime, we live within their embrace, our stars shining upon their hidden threads. The night sky, when we gaze at it, is more than a map of light. It is also a reminder of what we do not see, of the shadows that make the stars possible, of the invisible universe that is our true home. The shadows of the invisible universe linger like a quiet promise, always present, always holding. To close this story is not to end the mystery but to rest within it, as one rests beneath a starry sky without needing to count every light. Dark matter and the unseen cosmos remind us that knowledge is not only about what can be held in the hand, but also about what can be felt in the weight of silence, in the pull of gravity, in the shape of things that would fall apart without their hidden support. We are surrounded by this mystery, and yet we live with it every day as naturally as breathing. Perhaps this is the greatest wonder, that we can walk through a world where the greater part is unseen and still feel at home. Think of the galaxies once more, spirals spinning in the dark. Their stars whirl around the center at impossible speeds, yet they remain tethered, bound by halos larger than imagination. The stars at the edges, dim and far from the glow, should be cast away, but instead they circle faithfully. They are held in the shadows. This is the poetry of gravity, a dance choreographed by the unseen. Without it, the galaxy would be scattered dust, drifting into void. With it, the galaxy is whole, a luminous island in the sea of night. We live upon this island, children of a hidden order, borne up by hands we cannot see. Even the largest structures in the universe, clusters of galaxies, chains stretching for millions of light years, exist only because of the shadows. Gravity alone, from what we can see, is not enough, but the unseen mass, the dark skeleton, binds them together. When astronomers map these clusters, weighing them by their pull, they find far more mass than stars could provide. The shadows outweigh the light. The invisible outweighs the visible. The universe is written in ink we cannot read, yet the letters press deep enough that we can feel them through the page. And so scientists continue to listen for whispers. They lower detectors into old mines, into caverns beneath mountains, into the still waters of underground lakes. They search for a spark, a tap, the briefest kiss of an unseen particle. They build telescopes to look for faint patterns in the oldest light, the cosmic microwave background, hoping to see ripples left by dark matter in the dawn of time. Each effort is a candle lit in the darkness, small, fragile, but brave. And though the candles flicker, the night remains vast and the shadows remain patient. The patience itself becomes part of the beauty, for perhaps discovery is not meant to be sudden but slow, like the unfolding of a flower petal by petal. Each hint, each observation is one more petal opening, revealing a little more of the bloom. When the flower is finally open, perhaps it will be more beautiful than we imagined. Perhaps the nature of the shadows will tell us not only what the universe is made of, but also why it is so gentle, so vast, so filled with both light and darkness. Perhaps it will remind us that reality is not bound to sight, but stretches into the unseen, the unmeasurable, the poetic. To live with this knowledge is to live with humility. We know so little, and yet we know enough to see that the unseen outweighs us. It is as if the cosmos itself is whispering, "Do not think the visible is all there is. Remember the hidden, honor the invisible, for the unseen holds the stars and the stars hold you." It is a lesson both scientific and human. Just as galaxies are shaped by what they cannot see, so too are we. Our lives are shaped by love, by memory, by trust, all invisible, all unmeasurable, yet more real than stone. The cosmos and the human heart reflect one another in this way, both held by shadows, both sustained by what is unseen. Now imagine once more drifting outward from Earth. You pass beyond the planets, beyond the sun, beyond the Milky Way. You see the spiral arms curl like ribbons of light, and around them stretches the great invisible halo, vast, silent, embracing. Beyond that, other galaxies appear, each in its own cocoon of shadow, each tethered by the same unseen hands. And farther still, the cosmic web reveals itself, a lace of light strung across threads of darkness, galaxies clinging to strands like dew. And you realize the universe itself is not mostly stars, it is mostly shadows. What we see is only the embroidery, what we do not see is the cloth that holds it all. The story of the invisible universe does not end here, for the search continues, the silence deepens, and the wonder grows. But for now, it is enough to rest in the knowledge that the unseen is real, that the shadows are not empty, that we are cradled by what we cannot touch. The galaxies will continue to spin, the stars will continue to shine, and the invisible will continue to hold them, patient as always. And we in our brief lives can look up at the night sky and feel the comfort of belonging to a universe both seen and unseen, both light and shadow, both mystery and home. So the tale closes softly, like the dimming of lanterns at the end of a long evening. The shadows remain, but they are not frightening. They are gentle, steady, eternal. They are the foundation upon which all light rests. And though we cannot yet see them, we can trust them, for they have held the stars since the beginning of time, and they will hold them still, long after we are gone. To live in such a universe is to live in wonder, to breathe in mystery, to be part of a story greater than light itself. The shadows of the invisible universe are not absence but presence, not silence but song, and in their embrace the cosmos rests. The cosmos is full of echoes, voices without bodies, whispers without forms. Among them, perhaps the most haunting are the ghosts of gravity, the unseen masses that bend space, shape galaxies, and cradle the stars yet never shine. These are the shadows we call dark matter, but the name is only a placeholder for what we do not know. It is not darkness like the night sky, not a shadow cast by light, but a deeper invisibility. It is gravity without glow, weight without form, presence without touch. And so some have called it the gravity of ghosts, for it moves the universe like unseen hands moving through the fabric of time. If you gaze upon a galaxy, you see a whirl of stars like fireflies circling an invisible center. They spin too quickly, far faster than the visible matter should allow. By the ordinary rules, the stars should be flung outward, cast into the silence between galaxies. Yet they remain, their spirals held close, their arms unfurling in slow beauty. So, nothing unseen binds them, something invisible grips them, a hidden mass 5 times greater than all the light. This is the gravity of ghosts, and though we cannot see their faces, we feel their strength. Think of it as a great orchestra. The stars are the music, bright and resonant, but beneath them lies a deeper rhythm, a bass note so low we do not hear it directly. It holds the melody together, keeps the time, gives shape to the song. Without it, the music would scatter into noise. The gravity of ghosts is this bass note of the cosmos, inaudible, invisible, yet essential. It is the hidden rhythm that allows galaxies to dance. Astronomers first noticed its presence in the motions of galaxies within clusters. They moved as though something heavier was pulling at them, something more massive than the visible stars. Later, Vera Rubin's careful study of galactic rotations made the case undeniable. The stars at the edges were bound by an unseen grip. Since then, observation after observation has confirmed the same truth. The cosmos is haunted by invisible mass, far outweighing the visible. The universe is not mostly stars or gas or dust. It is mostly ghosts. To call them ghosts is not to suggest they are insubstantial. On the contrary, their weight is immense, more solid than the light we see. But like ghosts in old stories, they do not show themselves directly. They pass through walls, they move through bodies, they leave no mark but the cold pull of their presence. Scientists build detectors to catch them, chambers buried deep beneath the earth, shielded from the chatter of ordinary particles. They wait for a ghost to brush against an atom, to whisper in the silence. But the silence continues. The ghosts remain invisible. And yet we know them by their touch on the grandest scales. They bend light through gravitational lensing, stretching galaxies into arcs, painting halos around clusters. They shape the cosmic web, the lattice of filaments where galaxies form and voids yawn vast and empty. They cradle each galaxy in halos larger than imagination, spheres of shadow more massive than all the shining stars. They are the scaffolding of the cosmos, the unseen bones that give the universe its form. Imagine drifting through such a halo, gliding in silence through a sea of invisible matter. It does not block your path, it does not press against your skin. It passes through you as though you were not there, and you pass through it as though it were not there. And yet it holds you. It holds the galaxy. It shapes the spiral arms, the clusters, the constellations. It is the paradox of presence without touch, of weight without surface. It is gravity itself made ghostly. The gravity of ghosts humbles us. For centuries, we thought the stars were all that the shining heavens contained the whole truth. But now we know the truth is stranger. The light is only a fraction, a trace, a hint of the greater mass. What we see is not what holds us. We live in a cosmos where the unseen is greater than the seen, where the ghosts outweigh the galaxies. To accept this is to accept that mystery is not an exception, but the rule. And so, when you look at the night sky, when you let your eyes rest upon Orion or the curve of the Milky Way, remember that what you see is only the embroidery. The fabric beneath is invisible. The ghosts of gravity are everywhere, passing through you, surrounding you, shaping the stars above. You are part of their story as surely as the galaxies are. You live within their embrace, though you cannot feel their touch. And in that quiet truth lies a kind of peace. The universe is larger than you can see, heavier than you can weigh, stranger than you can imagine. It is haunted by the gravity of ghosts, and those ghosts are what make it whole. Let us drift deeper into the presence of these ghosts, for the more closely we look, the more their fingerprints cover the universe. The galaxies we admire, those spirals and ellipses scattered across the blackness, are not alone in their glow. They are carried as though upon invisible rafts by seas of dark matter. In truth, the stars are passengers, and the true body of a galaxy is not the light at all, but the halo of unseen mass that surrounds it. If you could strip away the stars and gas, leaving only the dark matter, you would see a sphere stretching far beyond the edge of the luminous arms. This sphere is the ghostly cocoon, and inside it the stars are stitched like embroidery upon a hidden cloth. This ghostly gravity does more than hold galaxies together. It gathers them into families, clustering them across billions of light years. Great rivers of dark matter thread the cosmos, and along those threads galaxies form like pearls strung upon invisible strings. Between them lie the voids, vast deserts almost empty of matter where few galaxies wander. The cosmic web is the skeleton of the universe, a network built of shadows. The galaxies are not the architect, but the tenants, living within a structure that was already drawn long before the first stars were born. This is one of the quiet truths of cosmology, that the unseen came first, shaping the visible that followed. Now imagine the early universe, only a few 100,000 years old, when the glow of the cosmic microwave background still filled all space. In that newborn fire, ordinary matter was still tied to light, scattering and resisting collapse. But dark matter, invisible to radiation, moved freely. It clumped where gravity pulled, drawing invisible maps across the young cosmos. Later, as the universe cooled and light decoupled, atoms began to fall into the valleys carved by dark matter. Stars lit, galaxies formed, and the universe grew bright. But all of that brightness was guided by invisible hands, ghosts tracing the outlines of creation. Without their pull, the universe would be smooth, without structure, a featureless glow. It is the gravity of ghosts that gave the cosmos its architecture. Astronomers have tested this story with simulations, letting their computers weave universes from equations. When they include only ordinary matter, the universe looks wrong. No great webs, no sprawling clusters, no chains of galaxies. But when they add dark matter, the picture blossoms into something familiar. Filaments stretch, clusters gather, voids open, and galaxies form at the crossroads of the invisible web. The simulated cosmos mirrors our own, as if the ghosts themselves had guided the programmer's hand. In this way, even without touching them, we can see their artistry. There are moments when the ghosts reveal themselves in subtler ways. A quasar's light, traveling for billions of years, bends around an invisible halo, producing arcs and rings that astronomers can photograph. A galaxy cluster, heavy with dark matter, magnifies the image of another galaxy far beyond it, splitting its light into distorted shapes. These events, called gravitational lenses, are the silent signatures of the unseen. Each arc, each stretched reflection, is a trace of a ghost's gravity, a whisper etched upon the sky. It is as though the universe leaves us riddles, puzzles carved in light, so that we may sense what we cannot see. And still, the question of what these ghosts are remains unanswered. Some scientists picture them as WIMPs, particles with mass, but only the faintest whisper of interaction. Others think of axions, delicate waves that fill the universe like a silent field. Some dream of sterile neutrinos, cousins to the ghostly particles we already know, drifting without care through matter. And a few imagine stranger things still, primordial black holes, tiny and ancient, remnants from the first moments of creation. Each possibility is like a face behind the veil, almost visible, never quite clear. The ghosts keep their masks. Yet the search continues, patient and devoted. In caverns under mountains, tanks of liquid xenon wait for a spark. On frozen peaks, telescopes listen for faint gamma rays that might mark the decay of invisible particles. In space, satellites measure the background glow of the cosmos, searching for subtle patterns left by the ghosts in their early dance. Each experiment is a question whispered into the night, and though the answers remain silent, the act of asking deepens our connection to the mystery. For to ask is to reach, and to reach is to honor the unknown. It is worth pausing to reflect that these ghosts, though hidden, are not far away. They are not distant like galaxies on the edge of sight. They are here, moving through us at every moment. Billions of particles of dark matter may pass through your body each second, like wind through trees, unnoticed and unfelt. You sit within an invisible river, and still you breathe, you think, you dream, untouched. To live with such knowledge is to live with a paradox. You are surrounded by a sea you cannot sense, and yet it is this sea that makes your world possible. It is a humbling reminder that reality is not bound by perception. What you do not see can still shape every part of your existence. And so the ghosts become more than a scientific puzzle. They become a metaphor, a mirror for our own lives. Just as galaxies are held together by what they cannot see, so too are we. Our lives are woven from invisible threads, the trust between friends, the love between family, the memories that guide us, the dreams that call us forward. These things are unseen, yet they hold more weight than stone. They shape our orbits, they anchor our spirals, they keep us whole. In this way, the cosmos reflects the human heart, both guided by invisible forces, both haunted by the gravity of ghosts. The story continues, vast and unfinished. The ghosts do not speak, but they are everywhere, their gravity etched across the sky, their silence deeper than any song. And we, standing beneath the stars, are part of their story, listeners at the edge of an invisible. See, to search for them is to honor the unseen, to acknowledge that the universe is greater than our eyes, heavier than our hands, richer than our imagination. It is to live in wonder, to rest in mystery, to find peace in the company of ghosts. The gravity of ghosts carries us now toward a soft conclusion, like the tide drawing back from the shore. To speak of dark matter is to speak of the unseen threads that hold the cosmos together, threads we can never grasp but that never let us go. It is to admit that most of existence is invisible, yet deeply real. And though the mystery remains unsolved, it feels less like an absence and more like a gentle presence, surrounding us with patience. The galaxies spin, the stars burn, and the universe endures, not because of what we see, but because of what we cannot. This is the poetry of the invisible, the quiet strength of shadows, the eternal embrace of the gravity of ghosts. Imagine again the Milky Way, turning in its silent spiral. Our sun circles the center, carrying Earth and all its stories with it, one orbit every 200 million years. If there were no halo of dark matter, no ghostly cocoon, the stars would drift away, the spiral would fall apart, and the galaxy would dissolve into scattered dust. But the ghosts hold it close. Their gravity reaches far beyond the shining disk, anchoring the stars in place as though unseen arms were wrapped around the galaxy. And so we exist. Our world spins in the warmth of the sun only because invisible matter cradles the galaxy that holds the sun itself. Our lives are written on the page the ghosts have kept from tearing. It is the same with every galaxy, near and far. The Andromeda galaxy, drifting toward us in its slow collision course, swims in its own dark halo. When it merges with the Milky Way in billions of years, it will be the ghosts that guide the dance, pulling stars into new patterns, shaping a new spiral or elliptical form. Even in cosmic collisions, the invisible outweighs the visible. What we call the fate of galaxies is in truth the choreography of ghosts. The largest structures in the universe, clusters of galaxies bound together across millions of light years, are held by these unseen hands. Without dark matter, clusters would not exist. The galaxies inside would scatter like leaves in a storm. Instead, they gather, pressed close by the weight of halos that overlap, creating wells of gravity deeper than imagination. In these clusters, gravitational lensing is strongest, bending light into arcs and rings that shine like jewelry across the sky. Each arc is a message from the ghosts. We are here, even if you cannot see us. Each ring is a footprint of the invisible, carved not in dust or sand, but in light itself. And what of the future? Perhaps one day we will catch the ghosts directly, in a detector's faint spark or a telescope's quiet signal. Perhaps one day a new particle will step from the shadows and the mystery will grow smaller. Or perhaps the answer will remain elusive, always shifting just beyond reach. Either way, the beauty will not fade. For even if we never name them, the ghosts will continue their work, holding galaxies, shaping stars, writing the story of the cosmos in silence. The universe does not require us to know all its secrets for it to remain steady. Its patience is eternal, its embrace unbroken. There is a lesson here if we are willing to hear it. The most important forces in our lives are often invisible. Gravity itself cannot be seen, only felt in its pull. Time cannot be touched, yet it carries us forward. Love, memory, hope, all unseen, all essential. The cosmos reminds us that invisibility does not mean absence, that silence does not mean emptiness. Sometimes the most real things are those we cannot measure, cannot weigh, cannot hold. The gravity of ghosts is one such truth, a cosmic metaphor for the hidden strength in all things. So let us rest in the presence of this mystery. The night sky above is brighter for the shadows that support it, richer for the unseen scaffolding that holds its stars. We need not fear what we cannot see, for it is already cradling us, already keeping the universe whole. The ghosts are not intruders, but companions, silent and steadfast, guardians of the galaxies. They ask nothing of us but wonder, and in return they give us everything: structure, beauty, the chance to exist. As the story closes, imagine once more that you are drifting beyond the stars, beyond the spirals, into the vastness of the cosmic web. You see filaments stretching across eternity, galaxies like lanterns hung upon invisible strings. You feel the pull of gravity, though no hand touches you. And in that silence, in that stillness, you understand the universe is more than light. It is also shadow. It is more than sound. It is also silence. It is more than what we can see. It is also what we cannot. The gravity of ghosts is not a curse but a gift, not an absence but a fullness. It is the hidden strength of the universe, eternal, patient, and kind. And within that embrace, the cosmos and we within it find peace. The universe is a drifting sea, and upon its waters the galaxies float like glowing ships. They sail in spirals, in ellipses, in clusters bound together by unseen tides. But if you look closely, you find that they are not adrift at all. They are caught, held, suspended upon a silent net that stretches farther than imagination. This net is not woven of threads we can touch, nor of light we can see. It is woven of shadows, of dark matter, of gravity's invisible strands. It is the silent net that holds the galaxies, the hidden lattice upon which the beauty of the cosmos rests. When astronomers map the large-scale structure of the universe, they find something astonishing. Galaxies do not lie scattered randomly, like sand cast across a floor. Instead, they gather along vast filaments, strands that stretch across hundreds of millions of light years. Between these filaments lie empty spaces, great voids darker than the night sky itself. The pattern resembles lace or frost spreading across a window, delicate and immense. This is the cosmic web, and it is drawn by dark matter, by the invisible net whose presence we cannot see but whose form is written in the stars. Each galaxy is a bead upon the net, glowing softly at the nodes where strands converge. The silent net was cast long ago, in the first moments after the Big Bang. When the universe was still young, only a few 100,000 years old, the invisible matter began to gather. It did not glow, it did not shine, but it clumped, pulled by gravity into patterns. Ordinary matter, still bound to light, drifted helplessly, unable to collapse. But the dark matter, free from the chatter of radiation, laid the framework. Later, when the universe cooled and atoms formed, Gas and dust fell into the valleys carved by the net. Stars ignited, galaxies bloomed, but always they did so upon the structure already drawn. The net was the first artist, the silent architect of the universe. Imagine drifting through this net. You would not see it with your eyes, for it does not glow, but you would feel its presence in the way galaxies gather, in the way stars cluster, in the way light bends across the sky. If you could trace it with your mind, it would appear as an endless web, luminous filament stretching into the distance, a tapestry of both silence and strength. Each strand would hum with unseen gravity, each junction alive with galaxies. And you would realize that the beauty of the visible universe is only the embroidery. The net beneath is the true foundation. The net is strong, yet it is silent. It does not crash or roar. It does not blaze with light. It moves slowly, invisibly, shaping without being seen. Scientists study its patterns by measuring the subtle warping of distant light, by tracing the flows of galaxies across the sky. They run vast simulations, letting dark matter weave its filaments, and watch as the luminous matter follows, like dust carried in a river's current. Time and again, the pattern emerges, the net revealed in ghostly outlines. It is always there, beneath the glow, holding everything steady. And though it is immense, the net also touches us here, in our quiet corner of the cosmos. The Milky Way rests upon it, drawn along one filament, joined by its neighbors in a cluster. Our galaxy is not alone, but bound by the same threads that hold all others. When we look outward, we see not only stars, but also pathways, rivers of galaxies flowing along the silent net. To travel between clusters would be to travel along these strands, guided by the invisible scaffolding beneath. Even in our isolation, we are part of the web, connected by the unseen. There is a quiet comfort in this thought that we are held, that we are connected. The universe could have been chaos, matter drifting without order, light scattered into featureless mist. But it is not so. It has form, it has structure, it has beauty. And all of it is born from the silent net. Without it, there would be no galaxies, no stars, no planets, no life. The silence has given us a stage, and upon it, the luminous play of existence unfolds. So when you gaze upon the night sky, see not only the stars, but also the invisible threads that hold them. They are not absence, but presence, not emptiness, but foundation. They are the quiet strength that cradles the galaxies, the patient arms that keep the cosmos whole. The silent net may never glow, may never reveal itself to our eyes, but it is there, eternal and steady, the hidden fabric upon which the universe rests. To walk further into the silence of the net is to step into the heart of cosmic mystery. The web stretches farther than we can imagine, yet it is woven from threads so delicate that they do not shine. It is the paradox of strength without substance, of structure without light. In the stillness of space, galaxies gather where the threads cross, bound by invisible knots. From far away, they look like clusters of lanterns strung along unseen lines, their glow tracing only the outline of the true hidden form. This is how the universe speaks, not with clarity but with suggestion. The net is not shown but implied. It does not shine but it guides the shining. Consider how a spider spins her web at dusk. The strands are nearly invisible, yet dew gathers upon them, revealing the design. The stars are like dew upon the cosmic net, tiny droplets of light clinging to threads of gravity. Without the dew, the web would be unseen. Without the web, the dew would scatter. In the same way, the luminous universe reveals the invisible one, and the invisible sustains the luminous. The two are inseparable, woven together into the fabric of existence. Scientists trace the net not by sight, but by consequence. They measure the bending of light from galaxies billions of light years away. They record the velocities of galaxies within clusters, racing faster than visible matter can explain. They model the evolution of the cosmos, watching how matter falls into filaments, how voids grow vast and empty, how stars ignite only where the net has drawn them close. Each piece of evidence is a strand revealed, a thread glimpsed in shadow. Over time, the image grows clearer, and though the net remains unseen, its presence becomes undeniable. It is everywhere, and it is everything. Imagine the voids between the filaments. These are expanses so empty that they contain almost no galaxies at all. They stretch for hundreds of millions of light years, silent caverns of near nothingness. yet even here the net holds sway. The filaments define the voids, the boundaries of emptiness drawn by the shape of the unseen. It is not chaos but balance, a pattern written into the bones of space. To drift through such a void would be to feel the absence of light, but also the presence of form, the hidden outline of what cannot be seen. The silent net does more than shape galaxies. It shapes time itself. The universe we see today, with its clusters and filaments, with its spirals and chains, is only possible because the net has guided matter for billions of years. Long before Earth existed, long before the sun burned, the net was already drawing galaxies together, already deciding where light would gather. Our place in the Milky Way, our home in the cosmos, was written into the net long before life began. In this sense, the invisible is not only foundation but destiny. We are here because the net held steady. And yet, though it is so vast, the net touches the smallest corners of our lives. Each breath we take is possible only because the galaxy endures. The galaxy endures because the net holds it. The stars we see, the planets that form, the elements that make us, they all exist within the lattice of dark matter. The atoms of our bodies are ordinary, yet the structure that allowed them to gather was extraordinary and unseen. We live within the net, bound by it, sustained by it, as surely as a pearl is sustained by the shell that grows around it. Still, the question of what the net is made of remains open. Some dream of WIMPs, particles massive but reluctant to speak to ordinary matter. Others dream of axions, waves of invisible energy that hum across space. Some imagine an entire shadow world, a mirror to our own, where particles dance unseen beside us, touching only through gravity. Each idea is like a whisper, a possibility drifting across the silence. The net hides its substance, offering only its shape, and in that secrecy it deepens the wonder. For the unknown is not a failure but a promise that there are truths still waiting, mysteries still alive. To search for these threads is to step into patience. Deep in the earth, detectors wait, their crystals cold, their chambers pure. They listen for a ghostly tap, a passing particle brushing against the atoms we know. High in the sky, telescopes scan the cosmic background, searching for faint patterns carved by the net in the dawn of time. In laboratories, theorists imagine new forces, new symmetries, new realms. Each effort is a strand added to our understanding, each failure a reminder that the universe does not give away its secrets lightly. The net is patient, and we must be too. And yet, even without knowing its nature, we already live within its gift. The galaxies are steady, the stars are held, the cosmos has form. The silent net requires no recognition to do its work. It asks nothing of us, yet it gives us everything. This is its quiet generosity, that it holds the galaxies not for itself, but simply because that is its nature. To rest in such a universe is to rest in trust, to believe that unseen hands can hold as firmly as visible ones. It is a lesson both scientific and human, that the unseen may be the strongest presence of all. The silent net spreads across the cosmos like an endless lullaby, die and unbroken. To bring this story to its close is to accept that some truths will remain veiled, not because they are absent, but because they are too vast to be held in sight. The galaxies glow, the stars burn, but their stage is the net, the invisible lattice that gives them form. Without it, there would be no spirals, no clusters, no constellations, no home. With it, the cosmos is not chaos but harmony, not drift but design. This is the quiet power of the net, that it shapes all things and asks for nothing in return. Picture again the cosmic web, filaments stretching across billions of light years. Each strand hums with gravity, though no light shines upon it. At the crossroads of threads, galaxies bloom, clusters grow, stars ignite. And between, the void yawns vast and silent, darker than imagination. Yet even the void is defined by the net, its emptiness carved by invisible hands. It is a pattern too large for eyes, but not too large for thought. In the stillness of night, when you gaze at the stars, you are glimpsing only the dew upon the web. The threads themselves remain unseen, but they are the true story, the deeper song. Scientists continue to trace this net, to weigh it, to map its outlines. They study the arcs of lensed galaxies bent by gravity into stretched rings. They measure the faint echoes of the early universe, ripples in the cosmic microwave background that tell of matter falling into invisible wells. They build simulations, letting dark matter draw filaments across a digital cosmos and find that the pattern matches our own sky. Each experiment is another way of listening, of sensing the threads that cannot be seen. And though the net has not yet revealed its substance, its form grows ever clearer, like the outline of a mountain glimpsed in mist. The mystery lingers, as mysteries always do. What is this net made of? Are its threads woven from WIMPs, heavy but reticent particles that drift through matter unseen? Or from axions, feather-light waves that hum across the universe like silent chords? Or is it something stranger still, a shadow realm overlapping our own, invisible but real? The silence has not answered, and perhaps it will not for a long time. Yet in that silence there is beauty, for it means that the universe is larger than our knowledge, deeper than our reach. To live in such a place is to live with humility and with wonder. The net is not only a scientific truth, it is also a metaphor, a reflection of our own hidden bonds. Just as galaxies are held together by what they cannot see, so too are we. We are held by invisible threads: love, trust, memory, belonging. These are not written in light, but they guide our lives more than any visible force. The net reminds us that invisibility does not mean absence, that silence does not mean emptiness. Sometimes the strongest bonds are those we cannot measure. The cosmos teaches us this with every galaxy that clings to its unseen web. And so, when you look into the night, let yourself imagine the net beneath. See the constellations as beads upon invisible threads, the Milky Way as a river flowing along a hidden strand. Know that your world, your body, your breath exists because of this net, because of the unseen strength that holds galaxies together. And let that knowledge bring comfort, for though we cannot see the threads, we can trust them. They have held since the beginning of time, and they will hold long after we are gone. The silent net does not fail. The story closes gently, like the dimming of stars at dawn. The galaxies remain, glowing upon their invisible strands. The voids remain, vast and still. The net remains, unseen but eternal. To know of its presence is to feel both small and safe, both humbled and comforted. We are not alone in the cosmos. We are connected, every galaxy, every star, every life, by threads we cannot see but that never break. The silent net holds us, as it holds all things, steady and sure, patient as eternity. And within that embrace, the universe rests. The universe hums with echoes, whispers that do not come from light but from what lies beyond it. When we look into the night sky, our eyes are tuned to brightness, the stars, the galaxies, the distant glow of ancient suns. Yet beyond the light there is more. There are structures and forces, rivers of matter and fields of gravity, all invisible to our sight. These are the echoes of the unseen, and they shape everything we know. To search for them is to search beyond the familiar, beyond the boundaries of photons, into the deeper silence of the cosmos. From the beginning, the universe has carried secrets. When it was young, only a few 100,000 years old, the glow of the cosmic microwave background filled all space. This faint radiation, still visible today with special instruments, is like a fossil of light, a whisper from the dawn. And within that whisper are patterns, tiny ripples that tell of matter already gathering, already foul. Ling into the pool of something unseen. These ripples are the first echoes of dark matter, the first sign that the universe was shaped not only by light, but also by what light cannot touch. In the faint hiss of ancient photons, scientists hear the footprints of the invisible. To follow these echoes is to learn patience. Light travels quickly, revealing itself in brilliant flashes, but the unseen speaks slowly in curves and bends, in the way galaxies hold together, in the way clusters stretch across space. Its voice is not loud but steady. The echoes do not dazzle, they persist. They are the evidence written into the structure of the universe itself. Every galaxy rotation, every distorted arc of lensed light, every ripple in the background glow is an echo of the unseen, a sign that there is more than meets the eye. Imagine drifting in space, your eyes unblinking, your senses open. You see galaxies spiraling, clusters gathering, filaments stretching into darkness. But you also sense what is not visible, the halos of dark matter surrounding each galaxy, the invisible scaffolding guiding their motions, the silent fields shaping their light. You cannot touch them, but you know they are there because without them the galaxies would fall apart, the spirals would unravel, the constellations would scatter into the void. The unseen does not need to shine to be real. Its echoes are enough. Scientists have learned to listen to these echoes with extraordinary care. They place detectors deep underground, away from the noise of cosmic rays, waiting for the faintest signal of a particle colliding with ordinary matter. They map the heavens with telescopes tuned to multiple wavelengths, measuring distortions too subtle for the human eye. They run simulations, letting the equations of physics draw universes within computers, and find that only with the unseen do the patterns match the real sky. Each of these efforts is a way of listening, of leaning in toward the silence, of searching for echoes that are not sound but form. The search has yet to find a definitive answer. The detectors remain mostly silent, the particles remain hidden, the net of the cosmos reveals its shape but not its substance, and so the echoes continue unanswered. But there is beauty in this, for the unanswered echo is also an invitation. It is the universe reminding us that there are still mysteries worth pursuing, still questions that will not yield easily, still wonders waiting to be discovered. The unseen does not deny us, it draws us deeper. To live in such a universe is to live with humility. We are small creatures on a small planet, listening for whispers carried across billions of years. Yet even in our smallness, we can sense the immensity of what we do not see. That is the gift of the echoes, that they reach us, that they tell us there is more, that they invite us to wonder. Beyond the light, beyond the visible, the unseen waits, patient and eternal. And as long as we listen, its echoes will guide us. To lean deeper into the echoes of the unseen is to wander into a realm where silence speaks more powerfully than sound. The universe is filled with signals, most of them bright, bursts of starlight, explosions of supernovae, the glow of nebulae. Yet beneath this brilliance there is another layer, one that does not shine but still leaves its mark. The unseen is like a musician playing in the background, never stepping forward into the light, but without whose rhythm the melody would fall apart. Its echoes are found in the curves of galaxies, in the balance of clusters, in the quiet ripples of ancient light. Consider again the rotation of galaxies. If only visible matter existed, the stars at the edges would move more slowly, their orbits weaker as distance stretched away from the center. But the opposite is true. The stars farthest out spin as quickly as those nearer in, as though the galaxy were gripped by invisible hands. This pattern is one of the clearest echoes of the unseen, a whisper that repeats itself across billions of galaxies. Each spiral, each ellipse tells the same story. Something more is holding them together, something vast and hidden, something that outweighs the light by 5 to 1. The echoes are found too in the way galaxies bend light. When the light of a distant galaxy passes through a cluster on its journey to Earth, it does not travel straight. Instead, it curves, wrapping around the unseen mass that lies in its path. Astronomers call this gravitational lensing, and it is one of the most delicate signs of the invisible. The arcs of bent galaxies, the smeared reflections, the duplicated images, these are not distortions but messages. They are the universe whispering, there is more here than you can see. Every arc is an echo, every ring a trace, every bent ray of light a reminder that shadows weigh heavily. Even the cosmic microwave background carries these echoes, that faint hiss of radiation left over from the universe's birth is patterned with tiny ripples, places where matter gathered more thickly or less so. Ordinary matter alone cannot explain those ripples. Only with dark matter does the pattern make sense. The unseen sculpted the early universe, tugging at atoms long before galaxies formed. Its echo is preserved in that ancient light, still visible today with careful instruments. To look at the microwave background is to look at the fingerprint of the invisible, pressed into the cosmos billions of years ago. The search for the substance of these echoes has become one of humanity's greatest quests. Deep underground, detectors wait for WIMPs, weakly interacting massive particles passing silently through matter. If one collides with an atom, it will leave a faint trace, a spark in the silence. Other experiments search for axions, delicate particles that could ripple across the universe like invisible waves. Some even consider sterile neutrinos, cousins to the ghostly particles we already know, drifting unseen through all things. Each of these candidates is an attempt to give voice to the echoes, to find what lies behind them. But so far, the echoes remain without a singer. The silence continues. And yet this does not diminish the wonder. For even unanswered, the echoes remind us that the universe is more than light. They tell us that what we see is only the surface, that beneath the stars lies a greater foundation. In this way, the unseen is not unlike the roots of a tree. The leaves and branches flourish in the sun, but their strength comes from what is hidden below. The roots do not shine, but they feed and anchor. The echoes of the unseen are the hints of those roots, quiet but essential, steady and unseen, shaping everything above. To reflect on this is to reflect on our own lives. How often are we shaped by things we cannot see? Memory, hope, love, none can be weighed, none can be touched, yet they guide us more strongly than anything visible. They are our own echoes of the unseen, the invisible threads that hold us together. Just as galaxies are bound by dark matter, we are bound by forces beyond measure. The cosmos, in this way, is not alien but familiar. It speaks to us in metaphors written across billions of light years. So we listen still with instruments and with imagination. The echoes may one day reveal their source, or they may remain as they are, patient and eternal, always guiding but never fully unveiled. Either way, the journey is beautiful. To search for the unseen is to accept that wonder is not always about answers. Sometimes it is about the silence itself, about the weight of what we do not know, about the peace of being cradled by mysteries larger than ourselves. The echoes will not fade. They will continue to shape galaxies, to bend light, to ripple through ancient radiation. And we will continue to listen, leaning into the silence, waiting for the unseen to speak. The echoes of the unseen linger as the softest of songs, carrying us toward a gentle ending. To live in a universe where most of reality is hidden is not to live in fear, but to live in wonder. The galaxies turn in their spirals, the clusters gather in their chains, the stars burn in their constellations, and all of it is held together by what cannot be seen. The echoes are not absence but presence, not silence but music too low for our ears. They are the reminders that reality is deeper than sight, and that our journey through it is only at its beginning. Think of the Milky Way, our home. Around it lies an invisible halo, heavier and wider than the stars themselves. Within that halo, the sun orbits, carrying Earth along its path. Each moment of our lives is possible only because the halo holds the galaxy together. If it were not there, the stars would scatter, the arms would dissolve, the sky above us would be empty of patterns. We would not be here at all. The unseen has made our existence possible, and its echoes reach into every breath we take. They are not distant, they are intimate, they are part of us. The same is true for every galaxy across the sky. The Andromeda galaxy, glowing faintly to the eye, is surrounded by its own dark halo. Distant clusters, shining like jewels in the void, are bound by immense reservoirs of the unseen. Even the largest filaments of the cosmic web, stretching across billions of light years, are written in dark matter. The echoes are everywhere. They shape the entire universe, from the smallest star to the largest structure. What we see is only the embroidery. What we do not see is the cloth that holds it all together. And yet we do not know what this unseen truly is. It may be particles, quiet and massive, slipping through our bodies without a trace. It may be axions rippling across space as invisible fields. It may be something stranger still, a force or a substance we have not yet imagined. The echoes do not reveal their source. They only remind us that it is there, that it is real, that it is patient. This mystery is not a gap, but a gift. It gives us something to reach for, something to imagine, something to wonder about when we look into the sky. The search continues, and it will continue for generations. Scientists listen with detectors buried beneath mountains, with telescopes scanning the heavens, with simulations running on powerful machines. They listen with equations and with dreams. Each experiment is an ear pressed to the silence, waiting for the faintest sound. Sometimes the silence stretches on and the echoes seem farther away. But sometimes, in a curve of light or a ripple of radiation, the echoes grow stronger, as though the universe is reminding us that the unseen is always near. The patience of the search mirrors the patience of the cosmos itself. The beauty of these echoes is that they teach us more than science. They remind us that not all truth is visible, not all meaning is measurable. Just as galaxies are bound by the unseen, so are we bound by forces we cannot touch. Love, memory, trust, imagination. These are not made of light, but they shape our lives more deeply than anything else. The echoes of the unseen universe are mirrored in the echoes of the unseen within us. To acknowledge them is to live with humility, to honor what is hidden, to rest in the presence of what cannot be proved but is felt nonetheless. So let us rest in this knowledge, that the universe is larger than our sight, deeper than our grasp, richer than our imagination. The echoes of the unseen will not fade, for they are woven into the fabric of existence itself. The galaxies will continue to turn, the clusters will continue to gather, the stars will continue to shine, and always, behind them, the unseen will continue to hold. We may never name it fully, but we can honor it, we can wonder at it, we can find peace in knowing that it surrounds us. The story closes softly, like the last notes of a lullaby fading into stillness. The night sky remains above, bright with stars, quiet with mysteries. The echoes are still there, guiding galaxies, shaping time, holding space. To listen for them is to listen for the deepest truth of the universe, that what cannot be seen may matter most, that silence may carry the heaviest weight, that mystery may be the truest companion of all. And in that quiet, in that unseen embrace, the cosmos rests, and so can we.